I talked a lot last episode about Fernet Branca. Fernet Branca is it's actually an Italian-made Amaro, but it's highly bitter, very vegetal, very herbal, a lot of herbs for sure. Just gonna get to it. Last episode, I talked about old fashions. I talked about the fact that you can pretty much take any brown liquor and you can make it into a delicious old fashioned using my spec, using the James Old Fashioned spec, which is Fernet Branca, which is orange bitters. It's agave nectar, and it's whatever brown liquor you want to put in there. First off, we're going to mix up a pre-comboed Fernet Branca and orange bitters. This is the Regan's orange bitters. If I can get the lid on, I can't. This is our blend of Fernet and Regan's. And then we have more of this. Ooh, boy, that smells great. That was a lot more of that in my mouth than I wanted. So we're going to start off with the Appleton estate. Very fruit forward, very sweet. This is the sweetest end of the spectrum we're going to see here today. All right, first one. I think maybe the Appleton, for my taste at least, is too sweet for this form of an old fashioned. What I really taste up front is like almost like just straight kind of honey sweetness up front. I mean, it has some fruity notes and all that. I'm not saying it's not complex. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. Excuse me. If you like a lighter flavor, if you like a little bit more brighter type of sweetness, maybe try it out. What's up next? Next up, our old friend Larceny. Good old Larceny wheated bourbon. Same deal. Larceny Old Fashioned, we know and love from the James Old Fashioned. I mean, I know exactly what this tastes like. It's got just enough of a smokiness and an edge to it. A heat, maybe, is the better word for it, compared to the Appleton. The Appleton is such a soft-edged flavor, where this has a much more, I don't know, broad-shouldered, kind of robust set of flavors to it at the start. It mellows out to a really nice, kind of an oaky place, kind of that darker sweetness, like a caramel sort of a sweetness, alongside some things that are pretty reminiscent of rye. Good stuff. I'm not going to have another drink. I know what that tastes like. Next up, we've got our Pierre Ferrand. I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly. Pierre Ferrand. No, I won't even. I could keep trying. I'm just going to embarrass myself and shame my family name. So this is the Pierre Ferrand Ambre Cognac. Dog slobber. Put a little dog slobber in there. It'll do you right. Hey, you know what? That's pretty good. The flavor profile of a cognac, in my experience, is typically a very smooth-edged type of flavor profile, right? Versus a whiskey or a bourbon, things of that nature, tend to be a bit fierier. Sure, that's a word. That's surprisingly good. I think we're doing the Mijenta Reposado Tequila next. Yes, we are. You know what I mean? I think that was one too many, but I don't know. Let's see. And we stir once more. Now, that is good, but I will say, a Reposado Old Fashioned on its own, it's kind of missing something for me personally. It is good. Again, I like the Mijenta a lot. I've made Old Fashions with the Mijenta before. The tequila gets a little bit like washed out in this spec, and I don't really understand why. Now we have the Mijenta. All right, now we have what will essentially be a Toronto for the first time. I mean, I've made my spec, the James Old Fashioned, with rye before, so I guess I probably have actually had a Toronto and not known it. This is a Bondstone Double Oak Rye, so it does have a bit of a smokier, kind of an oaked flavor to it than a typical rye. It is a brown sugar and chocolate hazelnut note. Ooh, That's a good one. Yeah, the smokiness. That double oak smoke apparently means business. It's got a real strong back, that one. So occasionally with an old fashioned, I will put in some cocoa bitters or some Aztec chocolate bitters. This is one I think maybe would benefit. Again, I've never made an actual Toronto where it's just straight Fernet instead of bitters. But this, I can see how that would be a good drink. Now we're getting into some more fun stuff. I mean, this has all been fun, right? But the Hamilton is one of my favorites. Let me go ahead and grab it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mm. Mm-hmm. Damn. It's not the most complex set of flavors, at least in my palate, but I really like a dark. I mean, molasses as a sweetener to me is really fantastic, and it's got a lot of that in it. It's really molasses forward. Really like dark fruits, plums maybe, raisiny. Hey, it's really good. I like it. This is a good one. Drink it. Something like there's a little bit of a toasted note in there of something that I can't quite put my finger on. And now I think we're getting into pretty weird territory. An old fashioned consisting only of mezcal as your base spirit. Don't know. I don't think I've ever made that before. We're going to try it out here. We're going to see how it is. I expect it to be very smoky. I expect the other flavors not to come through very well. 2 ounces of our Del Maguey Vida Clasico. Wonderful mezcal. Yes, I can feel the Demerara soaking into my spirit. And no, I don't mind. Woo! Yeah, very, very, very smoky. But smoked in a nice way, you know? It smells very, very vegetal. It's herbal in a different way, right? Like a really strong herbal sort of fragrance. There's... Never mind. I think I'm rambling. I'll just take a drink. This just tastes like mezcal to me. Again, this isn't bad. It's very one note for me. We have 7 cocktails out here. The big finish, right? The Laphroaig. I love this stuff. When I first started getting into bourbons and whiskeys, a buddy of mine picked up some Highland Scotch, and I thought it was one of the best things I'd ever tasted. It kicked off a whole new realm of exploration for me in terms of alcohols. Laphroaig is absolutely one of my favorites. It's very smoky. It's very peaty. Apparently, it's seaweedy as well, but it's got a really oily finish on it. And it just, you take a sip of Laphroaig rather, and it just lasts and lasts. Now, if you ask some folks, my wife being one of them, she's like, hell no, I don't want that lingering around. I want it gone immediately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do expect this to be very similar to the experience with the Mezcal Old Fashioned, where the flavors of the Laphroaig are really going to get front and center, and you're not really going to be able to see much else. That actually... Interesting. Wow, okay. Yeah, it's mostly Laphroaig. There's a little bit of something else at the very beginning that I think is the Fernet trying and failing to bring its head above the water, so to speak. And then no, the Fernet, or the Laphroaig rather, just says, no, get down. This is my show. And yeah, really covers it up. Ooh, I'm not sure the Fernet and the Laphroaig get along very well. Kind of becomes a little, it's got like an acrid note. It's really weird. It's like the Laphroaig got burnt. It seems silly. It's not a bad flavor. Well, yeah, it's not a good flavor. It's not a good flavor. I'll put it that way. Not my favorite. So that was it. That's Fernet the world, right? Fernet them all. We Ferneted all of the boozes, all the liquors. Here they are. Pretty interesting liquor here. Spirit, I should say. Pretty interesting. Amaro, have you? Wow. So there we go. 8 different old fashions, all according to James's old fashioned spec. Let me try and rank these real fast. So first place for the Larceny. Second place, easily. I would say third place goes to a surprising spot here, to the Pierre Ferrand Cognac. That was really good. In fact, let me just have another. After that, I would say probably is the. It's one of these two. It's probably going to be the Bondstone in fourth place here, just because of the fact that on its own, it's a really well-rounded, well balanced form of an old fashioned. After that, I'm going to go with the Mijenta, just because I think it's also really delicious. What this would benefit from, and actually I'll do it right now, is just a little bit of the Del Maguey. Now this should bring a nice smoky character to this. Put a little bit of that smoky mezcal in what is otherwise a reposado old fashioned, and you get a much, much more complex, much more aromatic and interesting thing to drink on. Absolutely. Absolutely. That would happily sit in third place if we were allowing for split base, but we're doing single base here. And so it's that, and then our Vida in second to last, and then the Laphroaig in last. And really just because of the fact that on its own in this spec, it's not quite right. It's not balanced. I'm not gonna stand here and get it balanced because I need a sandwich or something. I'm getting a little hosed. Oh, I forgot the Appleton. Sorry about that, Appleton. Yeah, I would say it comes right before the Mijenta. So whatever number position I put the Mijenta in, put the Appleton in there right behind it, or before it rather. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. A lot of good flavors. Really big surprise on the Pierre Ferrand. I'll definitely make more of those. I need to get back to the Hamilton as well. I think that's a really good one. Like and subscribe for more. And yeah, go check out my gaming content. I'm trying to weave these two things together a little bit. It's not a perfect balance. I haven't figured that out quite yet, but we'll get there. Tell me what you think. Take care.